Namaste. Welcome back to the session of Turbo Mission. Hope in the previous session one of my colleague has started with utilization factor, degree of reaction as well as the relation between the utilization factor as well as the degree of reaction and condition for maximum utilization factor. Let us recall what is the main condition for maximum utilization factor. So, in the previous session I hope you have ended up with this equation. So, before going on to this, let us try to understand what is utilization factor. Utilization factor is defined as the ratio of energy utilized to the energy that is available. It is nothing but the form of output by input. Output in the sense energy utilized, input in the sense energy that is available. This ratio is considered as utilization factor in turbo machines. So, now this equation epsilon, here epsilon stands for utilization factor, is given by V1 square minus V2 square divided by V1 square minus R times of V2 square, where V1 is the absolute velocity at the inlet, V2 is the absolute velocity at the outlet, again absolute velocity at the inlet, R nothing but degree of reaction, V2 absolute velocity at outlet. This equation holds good for the turbines, I mean turbo machines, whose R lies in between 0 and 1. We have derived this equation in the previous session. So, now if we look onto the velocity triangles for this particular situation, inlet velocity triangle looks like this and outlet velocity triangle looks like this. Please concentrate on the inlet velocity triangle, wherein the very main component is V1, which is nothing but the absolute velocity of the fluid which is striking the blades of the turbine. So, that is what we have called into V1. Next thing is V1 will be resolved into multiple components. Now, V1 is acting as a mother component and then rest of the resolved components are nothing but the daughter components. So, now this is the V1, which is nothing but the absolute velocity. Now, this has been resolved into two components, one is VU1 and the another one is VF1. This is the vertical component and this is the horizontal component, where VF1 is nothing but the flow velocity component of that of absolute velocity V1 and VU1 is nothing but the tangential velocity component of absolute velocity V1, and then VR1 is nothing but the relative velocity component. Next, if you look on to U is nothing but the tangential velocity of the runner blade. So, now alpha 1 is nothing but the blade angle, I mean inlet nozzle angle with respect to the blade rotation. Now, beta 1 is nothing but the blade angle with respect to the tangential component. So, this is what is related to the inlet. If you look on to the outlet portion, here is the V2 velocity, absolute velocity of the fluid at the outlet, then VF2 is nothing but the vertical component, flow velocity at the outlet, VR2 relative velocity, U blade velocity or rotor speed, VU2 horizontal component of V2, which is nothing but tangential velocity component of V2. So, this we have learnt in the previous session. So, now for maximum utilization factor, in the sense what epsilon max needs to be maximum, the equation for epsilon is available with us, which is nothing but V1 square minus V2 square divided by V1 square minus R times of V2 square. If you look on to the epsilon, how can the epsilon can be maximum? By looking on to the terms it consists of. I have only these terms in the equation of epsilon. I have to play with only these terms in order to make the epsilon maximum. Only one such condition what we can observe to make epsilon maximum is if we reduce the value of V2, look onto the V2, which is nothing but the absolute velocity at the outlet. So V2, if it gets reduces, numerator gets increases. Again, if we reduce the value of V2, denominator gets decreases. Here numerator increases, denominator decreases. That means the ratio increases. That means the absolute velocity at the outlet should be as minimum as possible. Then only the epsilon will reach its maximum value. What is the other factor? If I look onto the absolute velocity at the outlet, if I make it 0, then epsilon becomes the full epsilon maximum. I mean, it will reach its higher value. But practically, velocity of the fluid at the output, I mean at the outlet of the turbo machine cannot be equal to 0. We cannot make it as 0. If it becomes the 0, the fluid gets accumulated at the outlet portion. So because of that, V2 cannot be equal to 0. Then what is the minimum value of V2 that can be reached, so that I can have epsilon max value? If you look onto the sketch, here is the V2 in the outlet velocity diagram. If this V2 is moved towards Vf, I mean if I make this V2 perpendicular to the U or Vu2, V2 becomes perpendicular to the U or Vu2, then V2 becomes minimum. This inclined line has to be perpendicular to U, then only V2 becomes maximum. So that is what is the condition I have written over here. V2 should be minimum in order to have maximum utilization factor. So if V2 will be minimum, in the sense V2 has to be perpendicular to U. That means V2 overlaps on Vf2. Then if you look onto the Vf1 and Vf2, in case of axial flow turbines, the flow velocity Vf1 and Vf2, I mean flow components at the inlet as well as at the outlet will be equal. That means Vf1 becomes Vf2, so that we can merge inlet as well as outlet velocity triangles. Now V2 is also overlapping on Vf2 and Vf2 is equal to Vf1. That is what is the next condition. V2 is getting overlapped on Vf2, V2 is getting overlapped on Vf2, but Vf2 is equal to Vf1. That is what I have written over here. Next thing is, if you look onto the value of Vu2, please concentrate on this triangle now. If V2 is moving and overlapped on this Vu2 is getting reduced and it becomes a point at this point. That becomes Vu2 is nullified. I mean the value of tangential component of V2 at the outlet, which is nothing but Vu2, is equal to 0. So that is what is this condition. Vu2 becomes 0. Next, V2 should be perpendicular to U. V2 should be perpendicular to U. Then alpha 2 is equal to 90 degree. Look onto the alpha 2. This alpha 2 is the angle made by the absolute velocity at the outlet. So now this alpha V2 is getting overlapped on this line, so that alpha 2 becomes perpendicular, then alpha 2 becomes 90 degree. So overall, these are the conditions in velocity triangles to get the maximum utilization factor. Now it is very clear, Vf1 is equal to Vf2, flow components, I mean velocity flow components at inlet and at outlet are equal, so that I can merge both the velocity triangles. Next thing is, V2 is equal to Vf2, which in turn is equal to Vf1. So please concentrate on this triangle. This V2 has been overlapped on Vf2 and these two are same. I have merged inlet and outlet velocity triangles. This will not be altered. I mean inlet velocity triangle will not be altered, that has been kept as it is, and then this portion is merged with the inlet velocity triangle. So, I have merged the inlet velocity triangle with the outlet velocity triangle, wherein V2 is equal to V of 2, which is equal to V of 1, and alpha 2 is 90 degree. Along with that, Vu2, the value of Vu2 is 0. So, for maximum utilization factor, this is the condition for a turbo machine which has the value of degree of reaction in between 0 and 1. So, now please look onto this. Epsilon is equal to V1 square minus V2 square divided by V1 square minus R times of V2 square. That is the main equation what I have written. Then you have reduced the condition for epsilon max. This epsilon max is nothing but these conditions, applications of these conditions into this equation, and here this will be reduced into this trigonometric function cos square alpha 1 divided by 1 minus r sin square alpha 1. This derivation you have done in the previous session. So, that is why I have not derived the equation at this session. So, maximum utilization factor equation reduces to this form for all the turbo machines whose R, I mean degree of reaction, lies in between 0 and 1. So, this is what is the content that we have learnt in the previous session. By keeping this as the base, now let us move on to the next condition. So, next condition is condition for same epsilon max, I mean condition for maximum utilization factor for pure impulse turbine. Here we have taken the R value in between 0 and 1. Here we are taking the R for pure impulse. What do you mean by pure impulse? What is the value of degree of reaction for pure impulse turbines? Which is nothing but 0. R is 0. That means this condition, what I am going to say now, is only related to the turbo machines whose value of degree of reaction is equal to 0, or for pure impulse kind of machines we need to look for the maximum utilization factor condition. Let us move on to the derivation part. We know the basic equation for utilization factor is V1 square minus V2 square divided by V1 square minus R times of V2 square. Now, in the previous case, let us look on to the condition what we have derived. This condition is applicable for R which is in between 0 and 1. I can take this condition for R, I mean turbo machine which is having the R value 0, or turbo machine which is having the R value 1, or turbo machines whose R lies in between 0 and 1. I have kept this as the base over here. This equation has been taken as the base over here. Epsilon max, which is nothing but cos square alpha 1 divided by 1 minus degree of reaction times of sin square alpha 1. So, now let us look on to the conditions for pure impulse turbine. What are the various conditions, so that I can reduce the velocity triangle into certain stage and then I can derive the epsilon max. So, here I have written the conditions. For pure impulse machine, we knew R is equal to 0. How to achieve this R is equal to 0? Let us look on to the R equation. R, which is nothing but degree of reaction, its definition is nothing but ratio of static head divided by total head. Here static head is VR2 square minus VR1 square divided by total head is nothing but static head plus dynamic head. Static head is VR2 square minus VR1 square plus dynamic head is V1 square minus V2 square. Now, R has to be equal to 0. If I want R to be 0, that means numerator should be equal to 0. 0 divided by anything will become 0. That means R becomes 0. So, that is the only condition that I need to manipulate with. So, now Vr2 square minus Vr1 square is equal to 0. So that Vr2 square will be equal to Vr1 square, or I can say Vr2 is equal to Vr1. That is why I have written over here. Vr1 should be equal to Vr2, so that numerator becomes 0. 0 divided by anything will lead us to 0. So that R becomes 0. We can have the impulse turbine. Now for these conditions, we need to look onto the velocity triangle. Let us start from the basic velocity triangle itself, so that we can easily arrive into this, what we have written over here. So now it is very clear, in case of axial flow machines, Vf1 is equal to Vf2. So Vf1 is equal to Vf2 in the sense it is possible to merge the inlet as well as outlet velocity triangles. Once Vf1 is equal to Vf2, it is clear that we may or may not write this component Vf1 which is equal to Vf2. It is understood that a perpendicular line is there in between, which is nothing but Vf1 and which is equal to Vf2. If you not write this, it is okay. If you write it, it is better. So Vf1 is equal to Vf2. We have merged inlet as well as outlet velocity triangles. So this portion is nothing but inlet velocity triangle, and this portion is nothing but outlet velocity triangle. Now please substitute these conditions over there. This is the absolute velocity of the fluid, and it has been resolved into two components, flow velocity as well as Vu1. From here to here we have tangential velocity component, which is nothing but Vu1, and this is the relative velocity and angle made by the relative velocity with respect to the blade speed is beta 1, and this is the fluid, I mean nozzle angle, or the fluid is striking the blades of the turbine with this angle, which is nothing but alpha 1. Next thing is, this portion is nothing but Vu2. V2 absolute velocity at the outlet, relative velocity at the outlet. Vf1 is equal to Vf2, which is nothing but the flow velocity at the outlet. So this is the base velocity triangle. Now condition is what? Vr1 has to be equal to Vr2. That means this Vr1 should be equal to Vr2. If I have to satisfy Vr1 as to be equal to Vr2, then one more other condition needs to be satisfied, which is nothing but beta 1 should be equal to beta 2. I mean the blade angle with respect to the tangential components at inlet as well as at outlet should be same. That is what I have written over here. Beta 1 should be equal to beta 2. That means relative velocity components has to be equal, then blade angles should be equal at inlet as well as outlet. So now this is the final velocity triangle for turbines whose value of R is equal to 0. We have arrived with the final velocity triangle for R is equal to 0. Now let us move on to the next part. Epsilon max is nothing but cos square alpha 1 divided by 1 minus R times of sin square alpha 1. We have this for any turbines whose value of R lies between 0 and 1. Now what is the value of R for the given case? It is nothing but the pure impulse turbine. For pure impulse, R is equal to 0. I have substituted the value of R as 0 over here. So now 0 times of sin square alpha 1 is 0, 1 minus 0 will be 1 at the denominator. So that cos square alpha 1 divided by 1 will becomes cos square alpha 1. That means maximum utilization factor for pure impulse turbine will be cos square alpha 1. That is what we have written over here. Next thing is we have to look on to the cos alpha 1 value. What does this cos alpha 1 look into, or what does the value of cos alpha 1 takes? So that is what we have to look into now. Let us look on to the maximum condition now, I mean maximum utilization factor. It is very clear, if utilization factor has to be maximum, V2, which is nothing but the absolute velocity at the outlet, should be as minimum as possible. in the sense for epsilon max alpha 2 should be equal to 90 degree. That is what I have done over here. In the sense, in this velocity triangle, V2 has been made perpendicular to that of u. This V2 has been overlapped on this Vf1 or Vf2, so that V2 becomes Vf1, which is equal to Vf2, and the alpha 2 becomes 90 degree, and this Vu2 will be eliminated. Vu2 becomes 0. That is what I have written over here. Inlet velocity triangle will not be altered, and this V2 has been overlapped on Vf1 as well as Vf2. So alpha 2 becomes 90 degree. Let me name the triangle so that you can easily understand. I will name this as A, C, D, this one is E, and from this side I will take it as B. So that A, B, C, D, E. Now V2 is equal to Vf1, which is equal to Vf2. This is the condition for epsilon max that needs to be satisfied now. Now look on to the overall conditions that we have reduced in order to get the epsilon max for the given impulse turbine. We know alpha 2 is equal to 90 degree. That means V2 has been overlapped on Vf1 as well as Vf2, that has made alpha 2 as 90 degree. So because of overlapping, this Vu2 will be nullified. Vu2 is equal to 0, and we came to know that Vf2 will be equal to Vf1, which will be equal to absolute velocity at the outlet V2. Next, this V2 is perpendicular to the u. This is the u, and V2 is perpendicular to u. Next, we are talking with respect to R is equal to 0, pure impulse machine. VR1 is equal to VR2 for pure impulse machine. If VR1 has to be equal to VR2, only condition that made us VR1 is equal to VR2 is beta 1 is equal to beta 2. Now, if you look on to the velocity triangle, I have named the triangles A, B, C, D, E. We have three triangles over here, A, B, C, A, C, D, A, D, E. Now this portion has been named, this portion has been named, this portion has been named. I have left out with naming of this portion. Let us look on to the value of that portion. Please concentrate on these two triangles, ACD and ADE. ACD and ADE. V2 is common for this triangle as well as for this triangle. One of the side is common for both the triangles. Next condition is VR1 is equal to VR2. Two sides are equal. Along with that, angle made beta 1 is equal to beta 2, and on either side alpha 2 is 90 degree. In the sense, this length should be equal to this length. I mean, the CD should be having the same value as that of DE, because two of the sides and the angle made by the sides are equal, so that another sides will be equal in a triangle. So CD should be equal to DE, which will be equal to U only. Now I have got the naming of this also, which is nothing but U. So that is what we have written over here. Now look on to final condition VU1. This is the overall VU1. VU1 is nothing but U plus U, which is nothing but 2 times of U. So I have written 2 times of U. So VU1 will be 2 times of U. So all the things are named now. Let us look on to this value, cos alpha 1. Consider cos alpha 1. Where is alpha 1? It is nothing but the angle made by the fluid with respect to the tangential velocity of the blade. Cos alpha 1 is nothing but adjacent divided by hypotenuse. Adjacent is nothing but BD in this triangle, ABD triangle. adjacent is nothing but BD, hypotenuse is nothing but AB. BD divided by AB. What is the value of BD? Which is nothing but U plus U. What is the value of AB? Which is nothing but V1. U plus U divided by V1. Cos alpha 1 will be equal to U plus U, which is nothing but 2U divided by V1. But we knew U by V1 has been given the name of speed ratio, and it is notated by phi, which is nothing but blade velocity to the fluid velocity at the inlet has been considered as speed ratio. So now cos alpha 1 becomes 2 times of U by V1, which is nothing but phi. If you look on to the value of phi, which is nothing but cos alpha 1 divided by 2, or else cos alpha 1 will be equal to 2 times of phi. So this cos alpha 1 will take the value of 2 phi at the end upon the substitution of overall conditions for maximum utilization factor for the turbo machines whose value of R is equal to 0. So cos alpha 1 becomes 2 phi. You can substitute the value of 2 phi into this so that you can get the value of epsilon max. So this is the condition for maximum utilization factor for the turbo machines whose R will be equal to 0. Okay, let us look on to the next condition. Condition for the maximum utilization factor when the value of R, degree of reaction, is 0.5. I means 50% reaction turbines maximum utilization factor condition. So now we have the base equation between R and epsilon as V1 square minus V2 square divided by V1 square minus R times of V2 square. This is the relation which connects degree of reaction R and utilization factor epsilon. Next thing is we have a general equation for maximum utilization factor as cos square alpha 1 divided by 1 minus R sin square alpha 1. I have taken that into consideration. So now let us look on to the general velocity triangle, which consists of both inlet as well as outlet. So now this portion is inlet velocity triangle and this portion is outlet velocity triangle, wherein I have not written flow velocity component, because flow velocity component at inlet will be equal to flow velocity component at outlet. Because of that I have eliminated the perpendicular line at the center. So this is what is the general velocity triangle. Now this general velocity triangle should be reduced to 0.5, I mean R is equal to 0.5 velocity triangle. Let us look on to the various conditions now so that we can draw, I mean we can convert this into 0.5 velocity triangle. We know the basic definition for degree of reaction is static head divided by total head. Static head is given by VR2 square minus VR1 square divided by static head is VR2 square minus VR1 square plus dynamic head is V1 square minus V2 square. Dynamic head plus static head becomes total head. So now I need the value of R as 0.5, I mean half. For that I need to look for the condition. What is that condition? R has to be 1 by 2. If it has to be 1 by 2, then this term should be doubled at the denominator. I mean this term should be equal to this, or this term should be equal to this, so that I can cancel these two terms and then I can remain with half. That is what I have made over here. VR2 square minus VR1 square should be equal to V1 square minus V2 square. If I make these two equal, so that I will have 2 times of this, these two components will get cancelled, so that I can have half. So by making this condition, we will come to know that VR2 will be equal to V1 and VR1 will be equal to V2. So this is the condition that needs to be substituted into this general velocity triangle, so that I can get the velocity triangle for R is equal to 0.5. Now please make sure this has to be reduced into R is equal to 0.5 velocity triangle. Look on to the condition. V1 should be equal to VR2, outer line should be equal, outer line should be equal in the sense angle made by those two should be equal. Next VR1 should be equal to V2, that means these two lines should be equal in the sense beta 1 should be equal to alpha 2. That means beta 1 and alpha 2 should be same in the sense these two will merge with each other. They will become perpendicular to the U. Please look on to this condition. V1 is equal to VR2, V1 is equal to VR2 and V2 should be equal to VR1. V2 should be equal to VR1 in the sense this alpha 2 and beta 1 corresponding to these two should be equal. Alpha 1 and beta 2 should be equal, and for this condition V1 is equal to VR2. Please look on to this. Alpha 1 is equal to beta 2 and beta 1 should be equal to alpha 2, which is equal to 90 degree for V2 is equal to VR1. Now for maximum utilization factor, this V2 should be perpendicular. If this V2 becomes a perpendicular line, please concentrate on this. If this V2 becomes a perpendicular line, then VU2 will get eliminated. That is what I have written over here. VU2 will be equal to 0 for maximum utilization factor. So all the conditions are written now. Along with this, you need to concentrate on this also. U becomes VU1. Concentrate on this now. VR1 should be a perpendicular line which should be equal to V2. VR1 should be equal to V2. This VR1 should be equal to V2. VR1 has to be overlapped on V2. In the sense, this U will get emerges as VU1. That is what I have written over here. U will be equal to VU1. So these are the overall conditions for R is equal to 0.5. Now let us look on to the condition for maximum utilization factor. We have this base condition for maximum utilization factor cos square alpha 1 divided by 1 minus R sin square alpha 1. Now we know the value of R is nothing but 0.5, epsilon max is equal to cos square alpha 1 divided by 1 minus 0.5 sin square alpha 1. So this is the final equation what we will get from substitution of R as a 0.5. Now from triangle ABC, please name the triangle over here ABCD. From this ABC triangle, consider the cos alpha 1, numerator value cos alpha 1. So alpha 1 is here, alpha 1 cos alpha 1 in the sense adjacent divided by hypotenuse. Adjacent is VU1 or U, hypotenuse is V1, U by V1. We know U is the tangential velocity of the rotor, V1 is the absolute velocity of the fluid which is striking the blades of the turbine. So U by V1 is phi. So cos alpha 1 will be equal to phi. Now if you need alpha 1 which is equal to cos inverse of phi, where phi is nothing but U by V1. U by V1 is considered as speed ratio. You can substitute this cos alpha 1 value over here and then you can finalize the value of maximum utilization factor for the turbines whose degree of reaction is 0.5 or 50%. So that now we have obtained the conditions for general condition for the turbines maximum utilization factor and the condition for pure impulse machines and the condition for reaction machines. So these three are the maximum utilization factor conditions for the turbo machines.